Hi, welcome to this video on trigonometry. Let's take a look at today's question. Two vertical poles A and B, each of height h, are standing on opposite sides of a level road. They are 24 meters apart. The point P on the road directly between the two poles is a distance x from pole A. The angle of elevation from P to the top of pole A is 60 degrees. Take a moment to take in the diagram. There are several points that students should take note of. Firstly, the word vertical tells us that we are dealing with right angle triangles, and trigonometry likely springs to mind. Secondly, we are given two triangles that have a side in each that is equal to the other. In other words, h is equal to h. The two heights of the triangles are the same. We will likely have to equate these sides at some stage in our workings. Finally, we are asked to write h in terms of x. This means find h equals to something, with the something on the right hand side having only x's and constant numbers in it. Let's take a look at our solution. We have a choice here as to whether we want to use the triangle on the left hand side or the triangle on the right hand side. I'm going to begin with the triangle on the right. So the triangle on the right has 60 degrees, a height of h and a base length of x. It's right angled, so it's likely that we've to use trigonometry. Let's label the sides: hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. Hypotenuse being across from the right angle, opposite being across from the lead angle, in this case 60 degrees, and the side beside the lead angle is labelled the adjacent. In this instance, we won't be using the hypotenuse, so we know that the trig ratio that we're going to use will have to link opposite and adjacent. This is tan A. So the tan of A is equal to opposite over the adjacent, and I'll begin by filling in this formula. The angle is 60 degrees, the opposite is h, and the adjacent is x. Tan 60 is equal to h over x. I want h on its own. The x is dividing into the h on the right hand side, which means x will multiply on the left hand side, giving me x multiplied by tan 60 is equal to h. A little bit of calculator work tells me that the tan of 60 is equal to the square root of 3, and just to reorganize, h is equal to root 3x. Let's take a look at the triangle on the left hand side. Again, it's a right angle triangle. I'm going to label it. The hypotenuse is across from the right angle. The opposite, which is h, is across from my lead angle of 30 degrees, and the remaining side is the adjacent. Note that this has been calculated to be 24 minus x. I'm not going to use hypotenuse again, so I know that my trigonometric ratio, whichever one I choose, sine, cos or tan, has to link opposite and adjacent. In this instance, tan is the correct ratio to choose. So tan A is equal to opposite over adjacent. The angle is 30 degrees, the opposite is h, and the adjacent is 24 minus x. On the right hand side of this equation, h is being divided by 24 minus x, so if I move it to the right hand side, 24 minus x will now multiply. Again, a little bit of clever calculator work shows me that the tan of 30 is equal to 1 over root 3, and I've found another way of expressing h in terms of x. In the second part of the question, we're asked to find the height of the two poles. Here we will say h equals h. Using our answers from part 1, we can see that 24 minus x multiplied by 1 over root 3 is equal to root 3x. On the left hand side, multiplying by 1 over root 3 is the same as dividing by root 3. To deal with the denominator on the left hand side, we'll say the root 3 is dividing, so if it were to move to the right hand side it would multiply. Root 3 by root 3 is root 3 squared, which gives me 3. I'm now left with 24 minus x is equal to 3x, 24 is equal to 4x, so x will be equal to 6. Note, however, I haven't been asked to find x, I've been asked to find the height. So what we need to do is take one or other of, or both, of our equations for height and sub our newly found x value in. If I know that root 3x is equal to h, and I know that x is equal to 6, I now can say that the height of the pole is equal to 6 root 3 meters. This can be converted into a decimal if you wish.